As I suspected, my mom doesn't give a flying fuck if I take that nicer desk that she bought years ago for me to put my computer on in 2009. She doesn't care. And she'd already said I could take the pretty blue lamp in the sheet set. But remember, she's mentally ill. She's schizophrenic. She's not allowed to love her daughter or make any decisions on her own. So, nothing she does. Mary can always say that I'm taking advantage of her, or stealing from her, or whatnot. So sick. So sick. So just fill me with rage. My rage is going to kill me. I have to get out of here. This is my mom. I had left behind some Cascadian Prompt cereal, so she discovered it and she liked it, and now she buys it for herself, but I've been eating it. It's organic Cascadian Farms berry crunch granola or something. And this is my CG coconut yogurt with a scoop of my Fibers Garden of Life Super Seed Fiber Supplement, organic, and organic maple syrup. The most terrifying thing to me in regards to, this is Poland spring water and apple cider vinegar. I just took my vitamins. The most terrifying thing to me in regards to my unfathomably deceitful, controlling, manipulative Aunt Marian took place when Omar and I were living on the streets after Donald had choked me, and I had decided I couldn't give Omar back to him and his mother, who had watched him choking me and had said absolutely nothing because she was pissed off. Anyway, this was back when my mother was poor, poor but not so poor that, she didn't have a car anymore because she totaled it more than once. She had totaled it and gotten into accidents within a year, less than a year apart, and I had begged her not to drive. She was a bad driver even when she wasn't on 3 powerful psych meds, okay? Back when she was only on Prolixin for all those years since I was a little kid. Remember, Marion always wants her drugged up more. Not that Marion has a say in it, it's the doctors that decide, but they drugged her up more, but now recently they decided to drug her up less. A miracle. She had to go get blood work done yesterday because of the Depakote she's on. Because it can cause problems, especially in people who are older. Anyway, I had no money. Remember, I was on welfare and GR and, and I just spent like $260 to get Omar a complete checkup, something Donald and his mom would have never done. I know they wouldn't have. They didn't care. To them, as long as he looks healthy, he is healthy, and it's like, hadn't been to the vet in years before I took him with my little pitiful amount of money. But anyway, this is gonna run out. I had no money. Omar and I had nowhere to go. It was the weekend. You can't find shelter. I couldn't find shelter anywhere, but I had no money. I depleted my money staying in the hotel with Omar, blah, blah, whatever. Called my mom and begged her. Remember, even if I'm gonna die, she's not allowed to ask Marion for a penny to help me. The only reason she was able to Western Union me $100, so Omar and I wound up staying in a real cheap, disgusting hotel in Hollywood for 2 nights. But to me, it might have been, it was the 5-star resort because I was safe and I could shower and just sleep and probably. I mean, I didn't get bugs. I mean, in the morning when I found a used condom underneath the bed. I mean, it was disgusting, but whatever. It doesn't matter because dogs weren't allowed, and that guy let me in and I wanted to hug him. And he said I could lose my job. You got to be quiet. I'm like, I won't leave the room for any reason. I will not leave the room. I won't make a peep. I was terrified. I was on the first floor. I could hear wild people right outside and whatnot. I was terrified, okay? I didn't make a peep. I didn't want anyone to know I was there. Didn't leave the room. Didn't make a peep for 2 fucking days. My mom Western Union me the $100. She happened to have extra money. She was saving up to get her fucking crown because Marion wouldn't let her, put a crown on her credit card. She'd mean, you could just put your tooth. You can get your tooth, but you don't need to spend that money on a crown, I already told you this story, but it hits home. I want you to understand. If my mom hadn't had a penny, she would not have dared ask Marion even to potentially save my life and Omar's life, because I had no money. We would have had to sleep on the streets. We would have had to sleep on the streets or whatever. It doesn't matter. Later, I figured out I could actually, with him, ride the bus all night long and get out and get back. But it doesn't matter. I needed to rest. I was going to just lose it completely. I needed to rest. I'd been lugging around 22-pound Omar in the 4-pound carrier and, and for days, all day long. And then my mom happened to have a little bit of money. She was slowly saving up to get her crown. And I found out because, she wound up sending more money to me and whatnot, and not doing the thing with the crown. But I remember when I moved in here in 2012, I found out she hadn't gone to the dentist in over a year, and her teeth had gotten much worse. What Marion does is sick. It's sick. The fear my mother has that she couldn't even. I begged her. She's like, I'm saving this, Mom, please. Omar and I are going to be on the streets. This is life or death, please. I begged her. She did it. She did it for me. She found a ride to the goddamn Stop and Shop. She gave me the 15-minute Western Union $100, but she happened to have it. It was chance. Otherwise, she would have never asked Marion for it, even to save me and Omar, who she loves so much. That just tells you 100% how sick this relationship this ridiculous between my mother and Marion. It's sick. Sick. She has a fucking tablecloth on her bag, so because the dog pees. And Mom, why don't you ask Marion to? Well, I can't carry. Why don't you get a mattress cover? Well, I can't carry. Ask Marion to order you one online. I don't want to ask her for anything. Oh yeah, you don't want to ask her for anything, yet she's your fucking power of attorney who put $53,000 into her own pocket just because periodically she did stuff with lawyers or whatnot over the course of like 7 years, and statute of limitations almost ran out, and then you guys settled it, and she has all your money and she's banking on you just, Unbelievable. And everyone thinks she's wonderful, Marion. Everyone thinks I'm a monster, and Marion touts herself as protecting my schizophrenic mother from me, the monster who doesn't love her and who will bleed her dry financially if given the slightest opportunity to do so. All I want to do is get fucking shit-faced. gonna. Doesn't mean I don't want to. The fact that I know my mom would not have asked Marion for even a measly $100 to save me and Omar, and give me a weekend of refuge. So just out of the heat and just so I could rest, just so I could sleep. That's all I did during those, I slept. I broke my promise. I couldn't do that to Omar. I could not keep him in that goddamn carrier. I felt so bad for him. I let him out. I think I put the blankets and stuff down on the floor, and it was disgusting. Anyway, he gave me the worst room because he knew I had the dog. He knew I probably wouldn't keep my promise to keep him in that stupid little black carrier, you know. He'd been in there for hours and days and days and days and days. I'd keep him in there. I let him out. I slept and slept and slept. But my mom, the only chance she had that money, had she still had a car, and you know, she only gets her little $125 a week, so she'd been able to save it up somehow, slowly. So sick. And she wouldn't have done it. She would have been like, I can't, Laura, I can't ask Mary for that money for you. She hates you, and you know, and it's supposed to be my mother's money. But Mary made sure my mom knew how poor she was, and I don't even believe that. Not that she had extra money, but my mom got her pension and Social Security, and my mom, there used to be money. Marion was paying off my mom's credit cards, and she eventually paid them all off, so there was that extra money. It's all bullshit. Marion always just tried to make my mom to think she was so poor. My mom was too confused. So one time I had my mom telling me what it was. I'm like, Mom, that doesn't even add up, right? It adds up to extra money. Mom, no, Marion says there is no extra money. And Marion even said, you can't afford a dog, Samantha. You know, telling her about her beloved pet. She can't afford to have a dog. Just fucking cruel. She's sick. She's one of those. Marion is sick, but she convinces everyone she's wonderful. It didn't happen, but if my mom hadn't had the money, believe me, she wouldn't have asked Marion for it. She would have said, sorry, I can't. I don't have any money. I can't ask Marion for that money. And not even to save me and Omar. No, she wouldn't do it. She's too afraid. Like I said, dogs weren't allowed, but the guy felt bad for me. I wanted to hug him. He was a young Hispanic guy. To hug him. And to me, that dingy, disgusting room with the used condom under the bed and whatnot was a 5-star resort. That Omar and I were safe, and I could sleep and rest and just slip into oblivion. I must have probably slept before I woke up maybe like 24 hours straight or something. I slept. The guy was only supposed to give me one night because he was there, and up front he agreed to 2, but he's like, you have to be quiet. He's like, I'll lose my job. I won't be here the second night. They can't know you're there. They can't know the dogs. I'm like, don't worry, I won't even leave the room, and I didn't. And then I didn't even get my $5 deposit. And remember, every penny counts when you're fucking destitute. Because the guy might hear Omar. It was a different guy. I didn't even turn in my room key to get the $5 back. I just sneaked out quickly. Because Omar couldn't be left alone in the room for a second. He might make noise while I'm turning in my key. I didn't risk it. I respect that guy let me stay there. He risked his job, and because no dogs were allowed. Like I said, during my ordeal, and it didn't matter the color of anyone's skin, I had, didn't matter. Some people treated me like total fucking shit and scum, and some people showed the most incredible kindness towards me and Omar. It was completely, didn't matter race, like I said. In Hollywood, I was so thirsty, I didn't, but I remember I got to take a shower and went to this hotel, this cheap, disgusting hotel, but these people, I wasn't going to come in. I was standing outside. Can I please just buy some bottled water? They're like, no, go away, we call the police, So